Hello, Rayne. All right. So, hi, everyone. I decided to go with the second poster I made, which is the Coney Dog poster. I messed around with anything. Wait, I messed around with anything, so please give as much feedback as you can. Okay, I'm a little unclear as to what I messed around with anything. Maybe you want to clarify that in your writing because I'm not exactly sure what that means. But I think you're saying you messed around with everything, so give as much feedback as you can, which of course I'm more than glad to do. So let's go ahead and jump right into the work and let's get to work here. So we've got Coney dogs, right? I want to reduce the size of this a little bit. Let me see, what do we have? Oh, this is a JPEG, that's why. Okay, I'm gonna have to download this. Okay, so what we'll have to do is this. Let me just save link as, and I'm downloading this so that we can get this in the JPEG format so we can view it in preview and get a good, accurate view. Here we go. This should only take 1 second. Okay, so, all right, there we go. There it is. All right, so now I can fit this in the window and all is well. Beautiful. Okay, now I think that there's a couple of things. I think it's interesting. Now you've set it up beautifully. I think this starburst behind the Coney dog, I think it adds this kind of excitement to the piece itself and draws attention. It adds a super, super clear hierarchy here in terms of where you want the viewer to look first in the poster. So one thing I think about the poster itself, I think we can push this illustrative technique to really challenge yourself. Right now we've got three shapes, two ovals and this kind of this kind of rounded rectangle. Plus we've got the squares. Okay, so I think we can push this. I really do. Rayne, I really do. Now, I've got some suggestions, but first of all, I would like to talk about your typography. Right now, you've got two serif typefaces. Both, this looks like copperplate, and I'm not sure what this is, but they're both very similar. They're both serif typefaces, right? So you've mixed a serif with a serif, which is something that you don't really want to do. They're too similar to mix together. So my recommendation for mixing typefaces is to stick with this formula right here, which is seen in week 1, project 1 poster begin. And then this dictates that all of the type choices that we use for this class have to be within these two lists. Okay, here's your list of sans serif typefaces. Here's your list of serif typefaces. Presumably, I think what you may have done is use two serif typefaces that are too similar, so it's a little bit uncomfortable. Look at the shape of the O. So you would see that it's just a little bit uncomfortable, right? I think we can create a higher degree of visual harmony by either using two typefaces, one from the serif, one from the sans serif. So you could say, I would use sans serif for this because I would just say Coney dogs in like maybe a universe or a Futura or maybe a Franklin Gothic or any one of these. I would just say Coney dogs using one typeface there. Okay, and then down here, I would add some additional text right here. Visit beautiful Chicago for the best Coney dogs in the world. Okay, something like that. So you're completing the thought. Because right now you're just saying Coney dogs. To me, as a viewer, I looked at this and I go, what about Coney dogs? I need more information in order for me to be able to accurately process this poster. All right, so again, maybe something like visit beautiful Chicago for the world's finest Coney dogs or something like that. Okay. So that takes care of typography, and I want to talk about your color palette. I think your color palette is, I would try to draw some similarity between the Coney and the dogs by using. I would recommend using the same typeface first of all, maybe even the same color. I do not recommend stroking type in typography. It changes the shapes of the letters. So we typically, professional designers and experienced designers, avoid stroking letter forms. And that's it. Stroke means an outline. Okay. Now, what I want you to do with the illustration itself is this. Now, there's nothing wrong with visual research, right? And I say this because what I did to get some ideas for you in different approaches to really push yourself and the level of engagement, not only in your own interpersonal skills, but also in the way that the viewer engages with this illustration, is to go out and do some visual research. All I've done here, as you can see in my search field, I've just said hot dog illustration. So we can see, I'm just going to open this up. Let's just go right to images. All right, let's go to images for hot dog illustration. And let's see these are just gorgeous. all sorts of really good ideas. We got some shading going on in these. We got this kind of mustard here. We got some cool steam. And there's just some wonderful techniques going on here. We got the starbursts that you have in yours, and all sorts of really cool stuff that you can use. Now, I'm not saying copy these at all. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that there's nothing wrong with doing your visual research and receiving inspiration as such. Okay, and you can see there's just page after page of cool techniques here. My recommendation is to use one of these illustrations or some of these illustrations. I'm quite fond of this one right here. I think that's really neat. It's got your starburst too. It's also got a gradient associated with the starburst. It's got some nice shading techniques here on the bun and the hot dog itself. I think that's wonderful. And again, this is just hot dog illustration image search, okay? And again, I just want to reiterate, there's nothing wrong with doing visual research. I don't want you to copy, I just want you to use these pieces for inspiration, for ideas of how you can create a more engaging illustration of a coney dog that employs depth, dimension, and volume, as we see in these examples. Right now, this seems pretty flat, two-dimensional shapes in a two-dimensional space. Okay, so those are my recommendations moving forward. Now, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be glad to clarify anything I've covered in this video or any of your questions in general. So again, any questions at all, don't hesitate to get with me. Well, you've emailed me and you've asked questions. I think that those students who have asked questions thus far in the class realize that you don't wait for me for an answer. I'm typically a matter of no more than a couple hours away. So please don't hesitate to post any questions, comments, concerns, or if you need clarifications. All right, great job. Thank you very much.